Brooks & Davis Real Estate Firm, LLC, offers more value than any other good full-service real estate brokerage firm when it comes to the sale of your home. We offer at least 27 things that contribute to your home selling in the least amount of time at the highest price. To receive our free home selling pamphlet, email us at info@brooksanddavis.com or call 713-665-8329. We also assist people who want to purchase homes or who are interested in getting their real estate license. Visit us at www.brooksanddavis.com.
Are you an inspiring entrepreneur? Or maybe you're an entrepreneur looking to take your business to the next level. My name is LarryWBrooks, and I am the author of Empowering Quotes for the Entrepreneur in You and The Entrepreneur Code. In these two books, I guarantee you there's success secrets that will take your business to the next level. I personally invite you to visit LarryWBrooks.com. Go under the books link and purchase your signed personal copy from myself. You have a great day and have an awesome 2020. Pure Hustle. It's not only a clothing brand, but it's a movement. I personally invite you to take a look at shoplwb.com. How do you survive? Pure Hustle. It's not only a clothing.
Day. Welcome to the Prime Real Estate Network podcast. I'm your host, Rick Davis. If you don't follow me on social media, I urge you to do so at Prime Real Estate Rick. If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in residential or commercial real estate, please stop by our website at brooksanddavis.com because we would love to work with you. Really exciting episode planned for today, and I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Today, we have a very special co-host. This is her fourth appearance on the Prime Real Estate Network podcast, and I thanked her earlier for every time before today that she's actually had a chance to sit in with us because she gets such a positive response from everybody online, Facebook, and YouTube. She is one of the hardest working businesswomen in Houston, Texas. She is an entrepreneur that serves as an inspiration, an entrepreneur that also serves as a motivator for people all over the greater Houston area. She is the owner of the Brandy Jackson agency, and also she is now an author. So without any further ado, I want to thank her for sitting in with us, and I want to introduce to our audience Miss Brandy Jackson.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, okay, even though this is your fourth appearance, you've co-hosted with me before, and I would thank you, and you've also been a guest twice. But for our audience, can you let everyone know what you've been up to and talk about your new venture as far as being an author?
Absolutely. 2020 has been a challenging year for a lot of people. And so, with everything that's been going on during the pandemic, it kind of made a lot of us kind of sit still and just, really sit down and think about what's next. So the next thing that I have coming up is my new book that's coming out first quarter of 2021, Be Independent. And it's going to be a book that's definitely for all audiences. I did gear it around being an insurance broker, but this book will actually help in any industry. It talks about becoming independent. Right. What are your fears? Why are we so fearful of taking that step to move from either working for someone or working under someone to becoming our own boss? And so that's what I've been working on this year.
You've been an inspiration and a mentor for so many young ladies around this greater Houston area for so long. Mm-hmm. I want to ask you, how does it feel to be able to take that inspiration and motivation that you've been passing out for so long and put it in book form? Because I know it can be a challenge, but I know also when you complete something like that, it can be really fulfilling.
Well, one of the inspirations that made me write the book was when I became independent. I used to be an exclusive agent for another company. Mm-hmm. And when I decided to take that leap of faith and go over to being my own independent agent or independent broker, I faced some challenges. Right. And one of the challenges was nobody wanted to help me.
Oh, wow.
No, I mean, I got more no's than yes.
Right.
And so that's what inspired me to say, you know what, let me put this information in a book to help someone else.
But see, the thing about someone like yourself dealing with challenges, you should explain to them that you're the insurance diva.
Absolutely.
Because I think they would have known from the reputation that precedes you that you're not the person to necessarily stop because there's an obstacle. You're more than tough enough to fight the long fight. So in the world of insurance, what has been going on in 2020? Because having the insurance diva on the show today is such a great segue to working with our guests. So I want to take some time to get a feel for what's been going on with insurance, but I want to introduce today's guest first. Today's guest, and I'm really, really excited because, you know, today is one of those episodes I like to call the red light special. We don't always have the luxury, the honor, and the privilege to having an esteemed member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, but today is one of those special occasions.
Absolutely.
Without any further ado, I want to introduce not only my fraternity brother, but he is the owner, CEO of Level Luxury Automotive, and he is also one of the stars on OWN Network Season 3 series, Ready to Love. Give it up, everybody at the Prime Real Estate Network audience, for my fraternity brother, Mr. Rashid Floyd. How you doing?
I'm good, buddy. I'm good. Nick. How are you, man?
I'm great, dude, man. Look here, man. First things first. I want to give you big love for representing so much on the show.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You be surprised how many noobs sit at home and when you was out there, they seen the brands, was like, oh, that's a real noob.
Yeah.
You don't get that all the time, but you know,
for
we got a lot to talk about, man.
Yeah, you know, most of them watching it with their lady friend too. They
come on, man. You already know how many
inboxes I've gotten. Man, I never watched the show, but I'm sitting there watching with my lady.
Come on, man. You know how many noobs, man. All the noobs from our chapter, man. We tuned it in every week, man.
That's what's up. I love it.
So first question for you, and I want to thank you so much for carving some time out your busy schedule. How has the attention and notoriety, how has that affected your brand and the business that you've been doing at Level Luxury Automotive? Because I want to talk to you about everything that you offer from a business perspective, and all the services that you offer, not only people here in the greater Houston area, but all over the country.
Right. Man, the show has been great, man. The response has been great. Everyone has been really positive about it. Of course, you got your few trolls and all that kind of stuff, but that doesn't, you know, that just comes with the territory.
Right.
But man, it's been good, man. I have nothing but positive feedback, and now I'm working on juggling the two because my primary business is my luxury brokering service.
Come on,
and
man.
That's what pays the bills.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the TV show and all that was a great opportunity, and I am getting some residual effect from that as far as people reaching out. And, you know, it's highlighting my brand, and which is great. And now I'm getting to the point where now, you know, I've been a one-man band for the longest, and now it's coming to the point where I need to start reaching out and start hiring some people.
Right.
And as my business grows, man. So to answer your question, it's been phenomenal.
Right.
And I'm just looking forward to what's coming next and the notoriety from that service that I provide for people.
One of the things that I was most impressed with when I was doing my due diligence as far as your professional and business background leading up to today's show was your YouTube channel.
Right.
The Car Gawd.
Yeah.
Now, for those who watch you every Friday that haven't had an opportunity to check out your YouTube channel, let everyone in the audience know exactly what they'll find at the Car Gawd channel on YouTube, because I mean, your show is crazy.
Right. Thank you, man. So Car Gawd is a concept that I came up with about a year ago, man. It's funny that a friend of mine, you know how we all get nicknames. It's just normally it's a pet name from the friends or family and stuff like that. And people would call me all the time, and one of my specific buddies would call me all the time and ask me auto questions. And he'd say, man, I was like, I need to hear from the Car Gawd. So it just kind of stuck. And then I was like, you know what? Let me give a behind the curtain scene of what goes on in the car business, and you know what it takes to get a vehicle for people. And what I focus on in Car Gawd, it's informative as well, and it's also entertaining. So most of the times you're going to see my interaction, me getting luxury vehicles and cars for my celebrity clients, whether it be athletes, entertainers, and also business professionals such as yourselves that don't have time to go in a traditional dealership. Those days are long gone. People don't want to spend hours and hours in, you know, a dealership anymore. So I provide a service, a concierge service that takes care of everything for them from A to Z. And then on Car Gawd, it shows me going across the country, trying to find vehicles, losing cars to other people, shipping them from one side of the country to the other. And then also give informative stuff. So I gave, if you check it out, I gave my thoughts on whether you should or shouldn't buy a vehicle during the pandemic, the pros and cons of doing so.
Right.
And then I also do interviews with people that have luxury car collections and stuff like that. So it kind of covers all the bases. And I may interview a guy who owns a auto detail shop. And I want to sit with him because if his life focuses around automobiles, whether it's detailing them, putting wheels on them, putting sound in them, you're still a car god to me.
Right.
So that's why it's called Car Gods.
Yeah.
And then I kind of show kind of the back and forth of that and give them a highlight to highlight their business and also kind of show what it takes to be a luxury car broker.
Absolutely.
I should have known you 2 years ago. I was looking for my car.
Right.
No, I actually bought a car, and I actually had it shipped from California here.
Yeah.
And it took me a while to find what I wanted. So I wish I would have known your services. I would have used you.
For sure. Well, you know me now, so
Oh,
I got the next one.
The next one, yep, for sure.
For sure.
I know the cool thing about you sitting in with us today, Rashid, is that having Ms. Jackson sit in, I feel like we get the best of both worlds.
Right, yeah,
We
absolutely.
get to have an expert as far as automobiles, how to go about brokering, how to get them shipped, how to find those hard to find with unique features, those custom vehicles or those vehicles that came with a limited release. Now, the great thing is that we have Ms. Jackson here who, for a businesswoman and entrepreneur, has always surprised me with her automobile knowledge.
Okay.
But dealing with commercial vehicles and helping commercial truck company owners as far as insurance, that's one of the things that I think is in her wheelhouse. And I know you had some questions for Mr. Rashid as well.
I did.
absolutely.
You know, knowing that you are a broker and you find, you know, certain vehicles for your clients, do you do that on a commercial standpoint, like for the truckers, like your 18-wheelers, things like that? Do you also offer that service if they are looking for like a fleet of vehicles?
Right, absolutely, I do.
Okay.
And I typically the stuff that I've done with that has been like personal relationships. People reach out to me that I know have want to get into that business. Like I'll find vehicles for people who want hot shots or who want the actual 18-wheelers and stuff like that. That's not my primary focus, but I definitely have those connections to do so.
Okay.
And like I tell people, if it's got wheels and it's got an engine, I can find
You
it
can
and sell
find
it.
it.
And
That's
get
right.
it done.
No
So,
doubt.
yeah,
Absolutely.
I don't limit myself on anything as far as the automotive industry, and then that falls right in line with that. So absolutely.
That's really great to know because I often get asked, you know, where can I buy a truck? You know,
Right.
can
Yeah,
you
for sure.
can you point me in the right direction? So I'll definitely send some people your way.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. I'll take care of it.
You know, it's one of the things, Rashid, that I love is especially on your channel. I urge everyone who haven't had opportunity to stop by the Car Gods YouTube channel to do so, is that you had an opportunity to work with and interview a good friend of mine, Big Chef Don Bowie.
Yeah.
You helped my man find a really nice truck, which is
Right.
super cool. And not only was it really refreshing to see you able to help someone that I know on a personal basis, but it took me back and I thought of a story from when I was younger and I had a friend of mine. He bought a high-end luxury SUV here in Houston, but he lived in Denver.
Okay.
Spent somewhere in the range of 75 to 90 on the vehicle.
Yeah.
He gets to Colorado, it snows, and that's when he realized he bought a two-wheel
Two-wheel
drive
drive,
SUV.
yeah.
And I'm going to tell you,
Yeah.
when you're young,
For sure.
Rashid, how many times have you run into people who come to you after they make a bad decision
they
and
make a
got to
bad
fix
decision.
it?
Right, exactly.
Could you talk to our audience about when you're purchasing a luxury vehicle, one of the main reasons why someone needs to reach out to someone like yourself is to stay away from that type of
Right,
situation?
exactly. I'm glad you brought that up because it's very important that people have someone to represent them.
Come on.
So people don't always look at a car dealer or a car broker in that light. So you know, and let's be honest, you're in real estate. What is the number one purchase after someone buys a house? It's normally a car.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's probably the second most expensive purchase people make in their lifetime is a vehicle next to a house. And you know, after people buy a house, I get a call. Okay, I just bought this house. I'm gonna
ready
go ahead
now.
and get this car. You know, and then what do? You have, when you buy a house, you have a realtor to represent you
Absolutely.
through that transaction. If you are ever having to go to court for whatever reason, what are you going to do? You're going to hire an attorney to
Right.
represent you. Why not hire someone to represent you that's going to have your best interest for a very, very important and expensive purchase that most of us, the second most expensive in our lifetime?
It's amazing that you have to continually reinforce that message, because if we did a survey of 100 people, I'd say 95% would say, I don't like shopping for a car myself.
Yes,
I would
100%.
prefer to have a
100%.
professional
Right.
do that for me. So could you explain, what do you think is the disconnect between everybody knowing that they don't want to do it themselves
Right. Well-
and everybody reaching out to you as a professional?
Well, a couple things. You know, we've got the old-fashioned, you know, throw the keys on the top of the roof, hide the invoice. You know, back in the wild, wild west of the car business. And, you know, sometimes dealers and car salesmen kind of put in that category as, with attorneys and other, professions where they feel that we take advantage of people.
Oh, and of course, the insurance lady.
Right, and exactly.
Oh, you go there?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, especially back in the day from the door-to-door insurance salespeople and all that. It's just kind of a negative persona from the past.
Right.
But now, with so much education of the customer out there, because it's over 90% of customers, before they actually step foot in a dealership, they look at something online. Right.
Right.
And when you have all this information online, now the customer's more informed, right? But at the same time, that same customer from Denver, if I'm selling anybody a car from Denver, I'm going to say you're going to need a 4-wheel drive automatically.
Come on. But
You know
you'd be
what I'm saying?
surprised. People don't do that first. They look for moon roofs
Yeah, yeah.
and alloy
No,
wheels.
absolutely.
And then can't drive in the driveway. when they
And
get
the
out.
alloy wheels are gonna suffer with that salt up there in the snow.
Absolutely.
So with that being said, that's the side of it that they need. And I know the pitfalls that they have to go through and the hoops that they have to jump through now, as far as finance is concerned. So if you consult me, even if it's on a new car, and I actually sometimes I just broker the deal for them, right? I charge them a fee for that, but I'm saving them more money by me doing that, because there's still ways that dealers can make their money. Even though you see this car listed online for this price,
Right.
you have to worry about back end stuff, interest rate, and things of that nature. And I've sat in all those seats. So that's the service I provide, and then my expertise is concerned.
Oh no, absolutely, man. I've always known the value of having someone in my circle like yourself.
Right.
If you don't know what to look for, you're gonna always pay retail. And if you don't know what value is, you're going to pay retail for less value.
Right.
So that's why it's imperative. And I urge everyone, please follow Mr. Rashid, take advantage of his services, because not only will it save you money, but it'll give you a better opportunity to have what it is exactly that you want to buy versus what came with what you purchased.
Right. Yeah.
Which is kind of, which
sure.
is, you know what I'm saying, which
That's a
can
good
be a
point.
letdown.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, when we come back from our break, I want to talk to you a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey.
Okay.
And your background as a business person and how you've evolved to where you are today, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Look forward to it.
I want to thank everyone for tuning into the Prime Real Estate Network podcast. We're going to take a short break to hear from our sponsors, but we'll be right back. This is Rick Davis, realtor and host of the Prime Real Estate Network. Are you currently leasing or looking to relocate to the Houston area, and you find yourself falling in love with a home but aren't quite in a position to purchase? Well, no worries. We offer the Right to Purchase program. We can place you in the home of your dreams at current market rental rates and give you up to 3 years to buy. Did you know that a majority of the homes that are for sale offer better quality than those that are for rent? So why wait? Don't cheat yourself, treat yourself. Let me and my team help you purchase a home that you and your family can fall in love with. Give me a call today at 832-928-3963. And remember to follow the Prime Real Estate Network podcast on YouTube, Facebook, iTunes, Spotify, and Google Play. I look forward to hearing from you soon. Be blessed. Welcome back to the Prime Real Estate Network podcast. I'm your host, Rick Davis. If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, please go by our website at brooksanddavis.com. If you don't follow me on social media, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Prime Real Estate Rick. As always, I want to thank all of our supporters who have donated to our Patreon page. If you have not done so, please stop by our Patreon page at patreon.com/the Prime Real Estate Network. Everyone who contributes to our Patreon page becomes a Prime Real Estate Network insider and assists us in building this platform and making it as big and as great and as lucrative as possible for not only ourselves, but so that we can provide all of the services to the community. I want to thank my special guest co-host. You know her online and the world over as the insurance diva. But to us who look at her as friends and family, we know her as the owner, operator of the Brandy Jackson agency. Miss Brandy Jackson, thanks so much for sitting here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, man, thank you so much. I know how your Thursdays can be.
Yes.
So I want to thank you so much for carving out a half hour to sit in with us.
I'm honored to be here.
Thank you so much. Absolutely. And our guest this week is Mr. Rashid Floyd, owner, CEO of Level Luxury Automotive, and star on season 3 of the Owns Network series, Ready to Love. How you doing,
Yes,
brother?
sir. I'm good, man. I'm good.
Man, you gave us so much worthwhile, invaluable game in the first half. But what I want to do in the second part of this interview with you is to give a little bit of a background as far as your evolution as a businessman and entrepreneur. There's so many people in our audience that may see this interview or hear your voice who may undervalue the steps that you had to take to be the man and businessman that they see today. Could you talk a little bit about what your life was like before entrepreneurship and anything that you might have done professionally before you decided to become the car god?
Right. Yeah. Absolutely, man. I've kind of always had that entrepreneurial spirit and that foundation kind of embedded in me from a very, very early age. But, sometimes we get caught in the traditional cycle. And, sometimes our parents, they didn't know any better. Hey, what you supposed to go? You work hard, work for 30 years, work for one company, retire, go on cruises and play shuffleboard the rest of your life. And that's a great life. And nothing's wrong with that. And it's funny, you see the millennials, they ain't signing up for that going forward this year.
My daughter said it's overrated.
Yeah, that's overrated. So I did the whole thing, man. I went to high school, played sports in high school.
No, you can shout out. No. You didn't play sports in high school. Shout out your high school.
Yeah, I went to Clown Forest.
Northside representing. Yeah, Northside as always. We out here still.
Antoine the Gulf Bank.
Come on, we out here. Stop it.
In Wood North. I played ball at Clown Forest High School, man. Was an all-state performer, man, and then ended up getting a college scholarship to play at Alabama A&M University in the SWAC, and went through and did the whole thing, man. Got the degree, man. Graduated with honors, and then thought I wanted to be a chiropractor because my degree is in kinesiology and physical education.
Okay.
So moved back to Houston to be a chiropractor in chiropractic college here in Pasadena, and did that for a couple years. Didn't really like it, and my father passed away, right?
Wow.
So that was my shift right there, because then I kind of had an awakening, because I had some opportunities to try to play ball overseas, but I decided to go ahead and jump in the school. And then I had left undergrad and jumped right into a graduate program, and then he died, and he had all these entrepreneurial plans for us, family, build something, a legacy for that his grandkids and great-grandkids we can all benefit from and pass down. Like our Caucasian counterparts do all the time. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of threw me for a loop, man. I dropped out and moved to Atlanta and lived with a cousin of mine and a good friend. And they had started a magazine out there called Look Magazine, Love of Our Kind. And I jumped on with them as a marketing and branding, try to help them. And we're doing our thing out there in Atlanta. And you know how it goes. If you're an entrepreneur, things all your shots don't, they don't all fall in. You got it. But, we took that shot, and that didn't work out for me. So I came back to Houston, kind of fell into coaching and used my degree, right? So a buddy of mine reached out to me, and I was an assistant basketball coach at a junior college back in Georgia, of all things. And then so did that for a year. Fast forward, man, I moved back to Houston and got into the school system, and I became the first African-American head basketball coach in Klein ISD school district.
Oh, wow.
At Klein Oak High School.
The Panthers.
I was a head basketball coach at Klein Oak up until 2013.
Oh, wow.
Son was born in 2013. I was a little burnt out with that process, not with the kids, but just education as a whole. The way it's changed now with the parents run the school system now, not the teachers and administration.
All the squeaky wheels.
Yeah, man.
All the squeaky
So I was like,
wheels.
you know what? I'm a little fed up. Got the son. I was married at the time. She made great money. She was in insurance, so money wasn't the issue, but I wanted something more. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to step out on faith and get into the car business. So I started in 2013 at Cadillac and just kind of learned the process from there. My first full year in the business, I was the #1 Cadillac salesman in the nation. So it was like, dang, that's like a fish to water. I was like, man, I should have been doing this the whole time.
This is what I've been doing with my life.
Man.
What are we talking about?
Right. So I'm still working for somebody at that time, making other people rich.
Right.
And then the people that I would sell cars to would reach out to me for advice on other vehicles they may buy. Or, hey, tell me what you think about this. So I started building up my reputation, building up my clientele, and I wore every single hat in the car business. And I think that's important to young entrepreneurs who ask me questions. I think it's important to get your apprenticeship before you decide to just jump out there all by yourself.
Oh, my God. I have to say something as you're saying that.
Yeah.
I talk about that in the book, Be Independent.
Yeah.
If you are wanting to go into a certain industry and be independent, my best advice is to get the experience. And like you said, the apprenticeship, working for someone else, learn the game, and then step out on your own.
Exactly.
That would be my best recommendation.
Yeah, for sure.
And I talk about that.
Yeah, because you can, it's one thing to be self-taught, and I have another business I'm self-taught in because I do own a clothing line, but there's a lot of you run into a lot of walls. You're trying to learn on your own.
You do,
and it's because in the car business, I was in sales. I was a finance manager. I was a sales manager, so I know front end, back end.
Right.
So that's how I'm able to provide the service to my people now. So I decided, man, there's just some of us all have kind of a fault line that happens in our life that pushes us over there.
Yeah.
To do that, and unfortunately with me, my divorce led to me deciding to go out on my own. Because I have a young son. And most important to me is spending time with him, not missing one basketball game, not missing one PTA meeting, none of that. And then the car business will eat you up if you're working for somebody. I mean, you're working, you don't have any Saturdays.
None.
You're working, it's a 6-day-a-week job from sometimes bell to bell. So, I said, you know what, I'm going to go out and step on faith, man. At that point, I really my only focus was me and my son.
Would you credit your son as your leading inspiration and motivator to step out? Or is there a book, a speaker, or a mentor that just resonates with you, that motivates you to get out the bed every day? Because me and Larry and Miss Jackson as well, we meet so many entrepreneurs and successful business people that I always try to glean that from each person, that nugget. So who would you credit, or what would you credit as your leading inspirational motivator?
At this point, number one is my son. Prior to that, man, I had 2 very strong men in my life, which is my grandfather, who my clothing line is named after. Shout out to Nelson Barcade Clothing. He was small town Louisiana, 5th grade education, man. But he was the smartest man I've ever known in my life, and worked his way up. He was a chef. He was known all through Louisiana. He cooked for governors, mayors, heads of states, and stuff like that. And he dressed really well. He learned from the people he was around. He was, he was wearing $500 suits in small town Louisiana, man. That was crazy.
On, man.
Like, what? Like, it was stupid. And
they say noobs usually come from good stock.
Yeah.
You know what they say, so I'm not surprised that your granddaddy was one of those.
Yeah, he was fine, man. So I looked up to him.
That's awesome.
And then my father, blue-collar worker from Fort Worth, Texas, man. He was a grinder. High school education, he went to the service. He worked at the Port of Houston for 30 years, man. I saw him get up and go grind and work that blue-collar life, man, every day. But he was always focused on me getting better in my life and having something, establish something. So with that being said, I had that foundation. I always been doing, selling lemonade and cutting people's grass.
The cool thing is,
stuff like
and
that.
I want to tell you this because, you may not necessarily have opportunity to have people tell you this publicly, but the way that you've used your brand and the elevated position that your brand is now in, I think you should know that you serve as a great inspiration and mentor for so many young African-American professionals, business people, and entrepreneurs, because especially from an athletic perspective, so many ex-athletes have an issue as far as making that transition. So I just want to urge you to keep doing what you're doing, because you show a lot of the ex-jocks like myself, like yourself, the outlets that are there if you are hardworking, driven, and ambitious. So from that standpoint, I want to thank you publicly, because the work and the example that you're showing is very underreported. So I want you to use your platform to keep pushing forward, man, because we need as many of those visuals, especially in the mass media and social media as possible.
For sure.
Absolutely. So I want to thank you.
Man, I appreciate that. That means a lot, man.
No, that's deep, because, I check out the show and I check your YouTube channel out, man, and I always think that this is a stand-up guy doing real business with real professionals, and I think we don't spotlight that enough, especially in the minority community, where we can all feel comfortable that when I do illicit services, I'm eliciting them from a true professional.
Yes.
So
sure.
For that, I want to thank you. Miss Brandy, I want to give you a chance, because there's so many professionals, entrepreneurs that I think could benefit from your message. So please share your Instagram handle and your Facebook, and where they can follow you, and anything that you have coming up in the near future or in 2021, please.
Thank you for that opportunity, Rick. You guys can find me on the Brandy Jackson Agency, LLC, which is my Facebook page. And then you can also follow me on Instagram at The Insurance Diva.
Absolutely.
And thank you for that opportunity.
I look forward to hanging out with you, man, because you always host great events. And unfortunately, this coronavirus thing kept us from being
Wait
social
a
as we
minute,
used
the
to.
events. I'm ready for
Oh,
those.
no, Miss Jackson, her agency hosts
Yeah,
great
let's
events
do it. Okay.
a lot of the time. Not to put any pressure on you, but I would love for when you get back in the swing of that.
Well, I
I
actually
will
have
be
an
there.
event that's coming up. It's a black masquerade ball that I
Come
was
on
invited
now.
to for an award for a small business owner. I can share that information
Well,
with you.
please, we would definitely like to be involved. Thank you, Ms.
Right.
Brandy. And
Yeah.
once again, Rashid, man, it's been an honor and a pleasure to sit in with you, man, not only as a fraternity brother, but also as an entrepreneur and businessman. I want you to know that for a lot of the youngsters that I've been in contact with that knew that you're going to be on this week, you serve as an inspiration and a mentor for them as well. So thank you so
what's
much,
up, man.
especially for holding us down on a Thursday, because I know for a lot of times people who busy and travel, Thursday is the get out of day,
Right.
get out of town day. So I know how
Yeah.
that go, man. Big shout out, man, Larry. We miss you, brother. See you next week, man. To everyone out there that's checking out the Prime Real Estate Network podcast every Thursday, we thank you. If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest, man, we're only a text, inbox, DM away. If you ever need anything, I'm always here. I'll see you next Thursday, and be blessed.
Brooks & Davis Real Estate Firm, LLC is marketing a property for sale right now that you can buy. These properties range from land lots for under $20,000 to move-in ready homes $500,000 and more, along with everything in between. To see this week's list of properties for sale you can buy now, go to bit.ly/BDREF weekly list. That's bit.ly/BDREF weekly list. If you plan on selling some real estate and you need it on the weekly list, call 713-665-8329 to speak with someone about it.